Okay, I think I am live on everything. Yet. All right, this is exciting. I have a lot of stuff today. Okay. Hi, you guys. Hi, Rochelle. Hi, Mary. Hi, Sue. Oh, are you guys ready for this? It could be intense. This is either going to be really good or holy shit. Buckle up, Buttercup. Mhm. Oh, I just got the string stuck in my mouth. That's awesome. All right, you guys, I have a list of things that I want to talk about today. I printed out a couple of posts. I did have a trigger post. Anybody who's been following conversation for the last 24 hours is like, yes, we saw that, Melissa. um, I'm not used to having somebody tell me to open my eyes or that I am closed off or that I should, let's see, take my blinders off, look outside the box. I was told to look out. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know what I do for a living? Do you know the things I've channeled? So it made me giggle. I was like, don't, that's go when when I go live, we need to talk about that. Um, so if you are watching me on Instagram, I unfortunately am not going to be able to see any of your comments yet. StreamYard is actually still working on it and trying to get the connection. So I was just excited that I could go live. So I was like, well, that's freaking cool. I can go live on Instagram through this program I use called StreamYard. So lots of conversation for today. So talking about religion, talking about God, talking about archangels. I did not realize there was such a fear. I had no clue that people were afraid of archangels and that some may have even been taught that they are dark or bad. What the fuck? That's a thing. So I had my own fears of religion. I was quite indoctrinated myself. So I've come a long way in my spiritual Mary. All I do is think outside of the box. Anyway, I've come a long way in my spiritual growth and my belief system. Things I used to believe that I've been shaken to the core. It's like you got the box full of styrofoam and you're shaking the shit out of it and styrofoam's flying everywhere. That's what happened to me. And that's one of the reasons I have my page. Because I feel like there's so much bullshit that we've been fed, and there's so much that's not true, and there's so much fear that's controlled so many of us for so long. And I just think it's powerful for people to find their truth. And if you are heavy into religion, beautiful, that works for you. I love that for you. But some of us are really starting to see some other aspects where the judgment, that's not of God. Fear's not a God. It's not a God either. It's not of God. God does not sustain that vibration. God energy, source energy, that's love. Pure effing love. I know. I don't feel like I should say the F word connected to God. That's why I said effing. But outside of God, I'll cuss my face off. Okay. Janet says, I wish I knew how to connect with my angels through meditation. It's that easy. We make things so much more difficult than they actually are. So you absolutely can through meditation. Okay. I'm probably not going to do a lot of personal readings today because I really want to talk about this because I think it's valuable and I think it's important for people. But you can always ask again. And if I feel drawn at the time, I will happily do that. But for now, I really want to stay focused on this. Okay. And much love to you. All right. So I had asked yesterday if any show of hands who was concerned or thought that archangels were dark, which, like I said, I didn't think was a thing until I created a post a few days ago, or maybe it was even yesterday morning, and somebody responded that the biggest thing they learned is that the archangels aren't bad. And it was like, is that a thing? Because we have Archangel Michael, famously. Everybody knows him, yes? I would say most people know who Archangel Michael is or know of that energy. So, angels, archangel means powerful messenger. That's what that means. It's what it translates to. And so, archangels are like light of God, attributes of God, attributes of source energy. Think about that for a second. How can that be dark? They're attributes of source energy. Here's the kicker. So are you. I am. The great I am, that's you. That's me. I am. So think of God like this beautiful, beautiful energy, and we're all part of it. We're all part of that energy. So I always like to say it's like God is living vicariously through each and every one of us. God learns and grows and manifests through us. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Nicole says she was recently, hi Allison, she was recently told to call upon Archangel Michael. Yes, protector. When I first began my ascent into spirituality and to metaphysical, that was one of the first things I was taught was connecting with the archangels, connecting with Archangel Michael, especially when I'm doing readings. Because it's really, for me, it was very important to make sure that I was connecting with beings of love and light. And I set that intention. I connect only with beings of love and light. Okay. Oh, Clara, I think I just did. So the archangels are an aspect of God, if that makes sense. They're attributes of God. So think of God and then the angels, archangels. So there is a hierarchy, if you will. So we have source energy, we have ascended masters, we have archangels, and then we have angels, and we have our guides and animal guides, and all of these other beings that also are connected. In this this is a playground. Love that. Earth school is what I call it, but I love it as the playground because we're here to learn. 2024 is going to be a good year for us, I believe, but I also believe there's going to be I do hear a lot of destruction. Oh, fuck. Sorry. A lot of destruction will still come. Okay. Kathy, you're welcome. Myra, archangels are amazing. They are, and there are an abundance of them, you guys, that will work with us. We have Archangel Michael, Archangel Ariel. Our Archangel Ariel is who I work with when I connect with animals. I call in her energy and I ask her to assist me. I have also had St. Francis step into my energy, and he tells me to call him Francis more than St. Francis. Okay. He also works masculine energy, not feminine, masculine energy that works with animals as well. So if you want to work with animals, those are two beautiful beings to call upon. Always come from a place of love, of course, open in that heart chakra, being peaceful. Okay. Love, light, all that, all the woo woo. Okay. Kind of like supervisors. Yeah, kind of like supervisors. But they can work with you and they will work with you, and you can call upon them, and they are benevolent. They are beings of love and light. They are not dark. They are not here to hurt anybody. They are benevolent. One of the comments from my thing was, well, I've done all this research and I know I'm right and it's in the Bible. Like, okay, the Bible was written for control. So just be aware of that. If you go back, this person also suggested the New Test or the Old Testament, which was fire and brimstone. There are things in that: stoning your children, dragging them into the streets, not sleeping with women on their cycles. They are cast out. They are dirty. So there's a lot in there. So don't pick and choose. If you're going to read it, don't pick and choose. Look at the whole thing. Okay. I know. I'm not saying don't believe because it's beautiful. But there's so much we can learn. So as I was told to keep my mind open, think outside the box, Melissa. I'm gonna. And I ask you guys to do that too. to keep your mind open to the possibilities of what's around us on a daily basis. We're taught fear, but we should be being taught love and how to raise our vibration above the fear so we stay out of the chaos. Okay? All right. So let's see. There was another one that I thought was I printed them because I knew I'd forget. I do not believe in hell. If there is a hell, it's more human made right here. And the stuff that we do to one another. Okay. I've not seen a hell. I know that there is love, and I know that there is so much that happens beyond this. So much that happens beyond this. Okay. Great question, by the way. Allison would love to know how to look to you. Honey, I don't know what that means, so help me with that. Okay. Michael Hall, actually, he posted this, so I'm just going to say his name. But he posted, somebody said, if no one really dies, how do you talk to dead people? Because I had commented, there's no such thing as death. And then I also commented, I talk to dead people for a living. I was kind of being naughty, a little cheeky this morning. I talk to dead people for a living. I'm sure I've stepped out of my comfort zone, was something I said. So if nobody dies, how do you talk to dead people? We're still talking to an aspect of their soul. So once they leave the physical body and they return to their higher selves, when they're at their higher self, they're now a conglomeration of everything that soul has ever experienced, and it's all like one. But we still have access to who they were in that lifetime. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, so that's how we talk to dead people. Yes, they're not dead. I use the term dead people because the different terms I use, people are like, what the fuck is she saying? What's this? What's in spirit? What's that mean? So I'm like, okay, I'll use the term dead people. Okay, but that person who said that they're not dead, you're correct. They are not. The soul does not die. What do the angels look like to you? I've heard many different images, so they will present how you need them to present. So that is in your mind. So, like not my main guide, but my gatekeeper, which is a guide, and we all have them. So my gatekeeper presents in armor, and I was like, what the? I lost my shit. And what I was told and what I have learned is that they present how we need them to feel safe. And so, what better way to make me, in my mind, feel safe than a suit of armor? I was like, oh well, that's badass. I'm okay. I'm good. So that's pretty eloquent of them to be able to present that way, isn't it? So, angels, when angels are around you, you may see colors. You may see like blues for Archangel Michael. I do hear Jophiel. So somebody has Jophiel, and they're pulling me to the solar plexus for that. So that energy is a golden yellow color. So colors are huge. If you have a vision and they have wings, that's how they're presenting to you. Okay. Do I see them as winged beings? I do not. But if that's how you feel they should be, that's how they're going to present to you. Do we choose to come back? Yes. God supports that. God's not choosing that for us. Does that make sense? So God is a supporting role in our lives, is pure love. So what gets us on the wheel of having to keep coming back is karma. Okay. So we have to clear our karma to get off of that cycle. So basically you're in the hamster wheel. Shit. Pull me off of this sumbitch. You get off of it by how you respond to people, through love, through peace. Think of Jesus, think of Buddha, think of those deities. You respond with love, and that's how you ascend. Okay, I know. And we struggle with that sometimes. Okay. So that was a fabulous question, Kim. Thank you for that. Kathy, I'm sure says if our life path is already mapped out for us, how does free choice come into play? Okay, so there's destiny and there's free will, two different things. These are things that are going to happen, and your response is your free will, how you're going to respond to the things that happen, which will either create or release karma. Make sense? You, Jennifer, excellent question. Meditation. All your answers are right there. Meditation. Okay. Um, guided meditations. I have written some. I do have some available. But meditation is your key. YouTube has them for free. Go type in guided meditation to meet my guides. Okay. Allison, I do believe that there is one that was, I don't know what that means. I mean, I do believe that there is one that was, but I think as a rule of thumb, they have not been. Okay. And Jesus is an ascended master, not an archangel. Hopefully that helps. Tammy says, how long does a person's afterlife evaluation happen? What happens to someone? So they don't have time like we do. So I always like to explain it with my family. Like my dad had a pretty difficult life. He did some bad shit. And his life, his review, I was made to feel like months, if not years. It was just a really long period of time. My mom's life review was more instant. In fact, I was invited to my mom's life review, but I was a chicken shit. I was like, oh. And now I'm like, son of a cracker. who's invited to that and doesn't go? Anyway, it was an emotional thing for me, and I just didn't feel like I was ready for that. What would feel instantaneous to us probably? Okay. And my son took his life. His life review felt a little bit longer for me as well. It felt like it had taken more time. Okay. How can I let go of the fear to connect and talk to my spirit guide? Brittany, that's an amazing question, my dear, because that's huge for people. Is we're so indoctrinated with fear of meditation, and meditation is the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself. And I was one of those. I'm not meditating. My soul's going to get lost. We are tethered to our bodies. You're coming back, I promise, until the body physically dies. You're tethered to your body. You're okay. Meditate. So the only way you get through the fear is going through the fear. And I will tell you, there could be very many levels of fear. Does that make sense? So for me, when I meditated the very first time, my guides were like, just trust us. This is good. This is good for you. And the first thing I saw was fire, and I was pissed. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? There's flames. I knew this was bad. Cussing up a storm to my team. Like, I was going to go to hell. I'm going to die. I was pretty traumatized. And they just kept saying, in my mind, just trust us. Just trust us. And what I had done was I had to move through my subconscious programming and my fear. And the next thing I know, I am ascending into this most beautiful blue sky, and we're flying, and I'm seeing all these glorious things. And because I didn't give up, I won't say they didn't let me, but they kept telling me, just trust us. This is good. This is good. You just got to get through some shit. And so that's how you get through it, is by pushing, by not letting the fear control you. And as for somebody who's had fear in 99% of my life, I can tell you it's worth the effort to get through it. And that's why I stand here today doing this on Facebook Live. Okay. So, Myra, I remember my grandma was big on archangels. I was little and would remember the names as if yesterday. Raphael and Michael. Yeah. Raphael and Michael. Jennifer, you're welcome. Allison, you're welcome. Tina, hi. Does everyone go to heaven? So I have never literally seen like a heaven, more different areas that we go to, and we literally all come from different places. I don't know if you guys are ready for that. That's me judging. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, there are many locations that we can go to, but I've not seen hell, and I've not seen the pearly gates ever either. I have seen this amazing energy that steps forward to send love. And I did a reading when I first started my mediumship, and this was 2013, maybe 2014, when I started doing readings. And a young man came through, and his passing was pretty tragic. And he literally showed me like the hand of God coming to get him, which was the most beautiful thing I've seen. One of the few times I've seen that. Okay. But he was also, his soul was trying to show his loved one that his soul was safe. So, what better way to show me that, to explain to them, than showing me this hand coming to get him? Okay. Can we ask the angels to be present with someone else, a friend who looks to be passing? Absolutely. But their guides are already with them too. It is, it saddens me when people create so much fear and that, oh my God, they're going to get lost. This medium told me they got lost, or this. So their guides and their angels and their team are with them. Okay. So please know that. And your loved ones on the other side who are connected to them will step forward for them. I've been shown that many times. Okay. But yes, you can absolutely ask angels to be with somebody else. Here's a fun one. When I'm driving down the road, somebody's tailgating me. That's a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, get off my ass. And I will ask my guides, can you either make them feel uncomfortable or discomfort from being that close to me? Or can you have their guides can you talk to their guides and say, hey, back off, that's dangerous. And 90% of the time it works. I've had a few situations where I was like, hey, you need to get a little louder because they're like tuning you out. But yeah, and that's without me pumping the brakes. I know. What the hell? So yeah, your guides can do some pretty amazing stuff, you guys. Okay. Oh, Jill, her son chose the same. Much love to you. One of the most difficult paths a parent can experience or take is the loss of a child. So my heart goes out to you. Okay. Christy, that is a fabulous question too. Yeah, I've only seen it a handful of times. When I say a handful, maybe two or three, a small handful of times, and it's like, oh hell. So I do believe the soul is pretty amazing and it's pretty powerful. Okay, so yeah, I do believe they can, even through animals. I know that's taken me a bit to say because in the first few years I was like, no, humans are humans, animals are animals. There's not crossover. Well, surprise. The more I do, the more I learn. The more readings I give, the more I learn. I learn from every reading. I've had so many spirits tell me things that I'm like, what the? I'm going to say this out loud and I'm going to sound super crazy. Here goes. Is there a thing as purgatory? I haven't seen purgatory, but I do believe there is a place where the souls heal. And if you want to call that purgatory, you could, but it's not a place where you're being held and tortured or hurt, but more of a healing process. And I think that's probably why my dad's life review took so much longer, time-wise. Is it just our soul tribe that we always incarnate with, but different roles? So we do incarnate with our soul tribe, but I was just having this conversation with a friend yesterday. Is the soul can incarnate into different families. We don't always come back into the same family. Sometimes we do. I have given readings where the grandmother has incarnated as the granddaughter or the grandson, or this, or the. I had an uncle incarnate as a son. Okay, yeah, so it's pretty awesome. Again, the soul is friggin' amazing. Okay. Jill, I'm going to skip that because I'm not feeling a pull to that right now. I'm not going to tell you yes or no because I'm just not feeling anything with that. But there's no reason to not hope for that. If that's what you would like to happen, you can absolutely hold that in your heart. Myra, yesterday was my brother's heavenly birthday. My husband's niece let go of the balloon, and her balloon spun the entire way. Yeah, that's awesome. So they're with us all of the time. I had somebody, Twiggy, that's an interesting one. I'm not familiar with Elohim, but I did have somebody just tell me that that the archangels were dark, and it's because of that Elohim. Not a, I hear not, and then I hear fallacy out of my right ear. And then I get this. I want to just start doing this and say too much, too fast, too much, too fast. That's from Twiggy's question. Reincarnation, absolutely, incredibly real. That's an excellent question too, Leah. Incarnation, reincarnation, where our souls keep coming back as long as we're working on things. We continue to come back to work through. Kim, catching you live. Well, welcome. Not sure what I'm lucky enough to catch. Well, I've already spilled a lot. Like word vomiting today. A lot of big energy, which is really interesting because that's going to carry us into next year too. They do tell me a lot of planetary shifts and a lot of new alignments coming in for us. Okay. What if a loved one doesn't want to die, but they go anyway? There has to be some sort of a connection between the soul and the human self in order to pass. So on some level, something would have occurred, and their souls are safe. Okay, their souls are safe. Oh, so Cindy, I'm going to read this one. Her mom unexpectedly passed. Here, I'm going to put it up here so I can read this way. My mom unexpectedly passed on December 6th. We were a bit estranged. She called me and we got to tell each other how much we loved each other. Did she know she was, I would say her soul did. 100%. Like, I need to make this connection now. I need to say this now. Our souls are so intelligent. And have you ever had an inkling like something was going to happen and then it happened? You didn't make that happen, but you felt it was going to happen because your soul, you're intuitive. Trust yourself. For my son and my daughter, when my daughter would go somewhere, I didn't worry about her as much as I did my son, which is weird because, we're programmed to be more concerned about the girls. But I was always like afraid to let my son leave the house. It was my soul telling me, don't forget this could happen and this might be coming up, or this was coming up, this is coming up. Okay. And I don't say that. I just realize that, Jesus Christ, I could just be scaring the shit out of people. And I'm not saying that to cause fear, but I am saying if you're being pulled to something, pay attention to it. Okay. Okay. You also have to move through indoctrination and fear. I hope that makes sense. Tanya, I need my spirit guides more. That they're with you. They're with you. Talk to them. Meditate. Come in. Just, okay, this weird lady on Facebook said, you're real. Come on in. I need to fucking talk to you. I'm stressed out. Talk to them. When you first start that process with them, they come in strong. It's like, whoo. I always joke and say it's kind of like if you've seen Twilight. I think it was the second Twilight series where they were showing the young vampires when they first turn into vampires. They are so strong and they're like crazy strong. That's kind of what it's like when you first open up to your spirit guides. They ascend. Ooh, go. She's got us. Go talk to her now. So that is the most valuable time for you to start asking all of your questions. I would do it driving to work. Can you do this? Can you do this? What about this? Does this happen? How has this happened? Why does this happen? When does this happen? Okay. Ask them everything that you want. Okay. And then if I were you, also get a notebook and write that shit down. Oh, heard this today. This was crazy. Because a lot of what you're going to feel is going to feel like you're making it up because we've been told that imagination is make believe. Imagination is a tool. Imagination is a tool. Okay. Use it. Use it. Okay. Your guides will give you signs. Go with what you feel in your heart. Okay. Go with what you feel and trust. Okay. You're welcome, Twiggy. Becky says all that I lean on is hurt people, hurt people. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. If people are causing you emotional pain, They're setting you up to feel how they feel. I feel like shit and I don't know what to do. And I don't think it's intentional as a rule of thumb. I don't think it's intentional at all. Okay. Can you, Cindy, can you tell my guys to straighten up and quit playing around? I need things to get serious. I love you. Oh, thanks, Miss Christy. I appreciate you so much. Kelsey, my husband's grandpa died about 4 years ago. We have some weird stuff happen in our house ever since. He was a huge jokester. Is this him messing? I would say he probably is putting his energy there to let you guys know he's still around and he's okay. How cool is that? Samantha, that's a good one too. So for your children, another thing that you can do, and I learned this from her name is Christy. Hold on. Communication is she's trying to communicate. They just took away my throat. I was like, so Samantha, your child is trying to communicate. She's setting you up to feel how she feels. She's feeling either powerless. If she's having breakdowns, she's struggling. So sit with her. Is the best thing you can do is just now you know how she's feeling, that she's getting these emotions. So now we need to get to the bottom of why and how you can teach her how to move through those emotions. Does that make sense? Ooh. Okay. Okay. I do read people and pets. I do both. Okay. Was I asked? I think I was. Was I done answering your question? I don't know if I was. Sorry about that. And I can't find you, so now I can't take that off the screen. Oh, yes, I can. There it is. Okay. So, so Samantha, sit with her, and you can call on her guides too, and ask her guides if they could help you understand or set it up so that you can understand what needs to happen to help her. Okay. When my dad was on hospice, he spoke. Oh, I'm going to put that on the screen too. When my dad was on hospice, he spoke to his mom in Italian and saw my brother and nephew and even dogs that have passed. I have videos of him talking to them. I love that. So they can actually speak to us in different languages. I have been spoken to in German, which I don't speak, in Spanish, which I speak muy poquito, in many different languages. I think I've heard Italian. I might have already said that. So, and I have to Google it because I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means. Spirit doesn't have a dialect, although they will use Sanskrit, which is the oldest language. So I do get a lot of Sanskrit as well, which is fun getting words you don't understand. And it's powerful because, like, I don't know, I want to share this story. Um, I live in a high agricultural area, and we have a lot of um, migrant workers. And one day I had a car drive by me and I heard this word and I was like, I don't know what that means. So I looked it up and it means coyote. And then I looked it up further, somebody who brings people across the border. And I was like, oh, Lord. And if I would have just heard the word coyote, I would have just thought, oh, it's coyote spirit messenger for me today. I need to look that up or I need to dive into that energy. So that's one of the reasons they may give us something in a different language. It takes ego out of it. Does that make sense? Because you can't make that shit up. Like, all right. Anyway, so yeah, I love that different languages. And so, like my dad, when he was dying, he saw his family in spirit. They were all congregated around him. When I give readings, they'll even show me I wasn't alone. People will say, "Well, nobody was with him." Oh, yeah, there were. There were a lot of people, and they'll be like, there were like 4 people. Blah 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 blah. And even people in comas, you guys, they can see you, they can hear you, they know. So when you're in the room with them, know that. Okay. Melissa, that's a beautiful question. How do we know if we're on track to learn what we're here to learn? If you feel a pull in a certain area, that's telling you you're where you need to be. Like, oh, I need to make some changes. So those are things you can pay attention to. Has everybody on Earth already reincarnated. I think most of them probably have, but I do also believe that a lot of new souls are coming in because we learn here at a rate we cannot learn anywhere else. And it's like major fast. Like we learn so much because we have duality here where we don't have duality in other locations that we can incarnate. I know. Trust me, when that comes out of my mouth, I'm like, yeah, I don't do drugs and I don't drink. Could you imagine that shit? There's a party. All right. So I am going to start to wind down. Triple digits numerology, you guys. Look up the numbers. If you keep seeing numbers, go to numerology.com. Look those up. What do they mean? 100%. They are trying to tell you stuff. Okay. Kathy, are you able to tell? Hold on. Who came to guide someone home after they have passed? Yeah, that comes up in readings quite often. I suspect many people that are watching this who have had readings with me can tell you, yeah, she said my mom came forward, or she said the grandpa came forward. Our true love is our higher is within us, I think. So I don't necessarily know that it's a soul or a person. So if you're thinking, are you going to reconnect with your loved ones who passed before you? 100%. Even if they choose to reincarnate, there's still that aspect of themselves that's in spirit. Does that make sense? So you're not going to miss them. There's not going to be, oh shit, I left and they went. What the hell? You'll run into each other. Okay. Yeah, there's life after death. There's life between lives. There's books on that. You might check that out. Great question, by the way. Oh, Mama, how beautiful is that? Hand of God, yeah. Much love to you. I know some of these messages are like from 10, 15 minutes ago, so I apologize. I kind of missed a lot. I am going to close, but I will try to go back through these, you guys, and I'll try to comment as I can. So if you had a question I didn't answer, don't panic. I will try to go back through this when I have some time. Okay. And I wish you a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here and for listening and for asking the great questions. Okay. I wish you guys the best. Okay. Much love.